So throughout this video, I will not be stopping and telling you where to annotate. You have to do everything on your own. Starting at paragraph 3, make sure you are looking at your paper, following along. Stay in the zone. You should be having your pen to paper, following while I read the whole time. Paragraph 3. Firmly gripped by his shirt front, the boy said, "Yes'm." 4. The woman said, "What did you want to do it for? Why would you go doing things like that to people?" The boy said, "I didn't mean to." She said, "You a lie." By that time, 2 or 3 people passed, stopped, turned to look, and some stood watching. "If I turn you loose and let go of your collar right now, will you run?" asked the woman. "Yes," said the boy. "Then I won't turn you loose," said the woman. She did not release him. "I'm very sorry, lady, I'm very sorry," whispered the boy. And your face is dirty. I got a great mind to wash your face for you. Ain't you got nobody home to tell you to wash your face?" "No," said the boy. "Then it will get washed this evening," said the large woman, starting up the street, dragging the frightened boy behind her. He looked as if he were 14 or 15, frail, dirty, and tired, in tennis shoes and blue jeans. Paragraph 15. The woman said, "You ought to be my son. I would teach you right from wrong. Least I can do right now is wash your face. Are you hungry?" "No," said the being dragged boy. "I just want you to turn me loose. I'm sorry, very sorry for what I've done. Please let me go." "Was I bothering you when you turned that corner?" asked the woman. "No." "But you put yourself in contact with me for no reason. Just stepped into my life a bother," said the woman. "If you think that contact is not going to last a while, you got another thought coming. When I get through with you, sir, you are going to remember Miss Luella Bates Washington Jones." Sweat popped out on the boy's face, and he tried to struggle his way out of her hold. Mrs. Jones stopped, jerked him around in front of her, put a half Nelson around his neck, and continued to drag him up the street. When she got to her door, she dragged the boy inside, down a hall, and into a large kitchenette furnished room at the rear of the house. She switched on the light and left the door open. The boy could hear other roomers laughing and talking in the large house. Some of their doors were open, too, so he knew he and the woman were not alone. The woman still had him by the neck in the middle of her room. She said, "What's your name?" "Roger," said the boy. "Then, Roger, you go to that sink and wash your face," said the woman, whereupon she turned him loose at last. Roger looked at the door, looked at the woman, looked at the door, and went to the sink. "Let the water run until it gets warm," she said. "Here's a clean towel." "You going to take me to jail?" asked the boy, bending over the sink. "Not with that face, I would not take you nowhere," said the woman. "Here I am trying to get home to cook me a bite to eat, and you snatch my pocketbook. Maybe you ain't been to your supper either, late as it be. Have you?" Paragraph 30. "There's nobody home in my house," said the boy. "Then we'll eat," said the woman. "I believe you're hungry, or been hungry, to try and snatch my pocketbook." "I wanted a pair of blue suede shoes," said the boy. "Well, you didn't have to snatch my pocketbook to get some suede shoes," said Mrs. Luella Bates Washington Jones. "You could have asked me." "Ma'am?" The water dripping from his face. The boy looked at her. There was a long pause, a very long pause. After he had dried his face and not knowing what else to do, he dried it again. The boy turned around, wondering what next. The door was open. He could make a dash for it down the hall. He could run. The woman was sitting on the daybed. So we're going to finish the story tomorrow, but go ahead, finish your annotations, and then unpause the video once you're done. Okay, so now go ahead to the front where it says annotation rubric. Underneath where it says 5 points, I'm going to take you through it one more time and read to you your requirements for getting a 5 out of 5 on this exit ticket. You do not need to follow along with this part. You can just close the video up now if you're done and if you want to read it through on your own. But if you want read aloud to make sure you get 5 out of 5, then make sure you're listening. Central idea stop and jots occur in appropriate frequency. So go ahead, make sure you have done the central idea stop and jot after nearly every few paragraphs. Annotations reflect an understanding of literary elements we've discussed this year. So that's inner dialogue, theme, tone, point of view, character traits, conflict, parts of a plot mountain, how they all build or contribute to the text too. Make sure you have as many of those things as are there. And underlines and highlights and overall annotations demonstrate that the reader can determine importance in a text. So you shouldn't have annotated everything. I don't want to see that there's highlights all over your paper, only important things. Acknowledges and attempts to tackle unknown vocabulary words using context clues and word parts. Make sure that you go ahead and annotate and circle any words you don't know the meaning of and try and figure them out. And then text shows inferences at important parts and underlines and highlights evidence. So anytime you can infer something about a character, for example, at the beginning when I made that inference that my character, the woman was very, here I'll show you. That was an inference that she was very brave. So while it was a character trait annotation, it was also me making an inference because it didn't tell us she was strong, brave, and a fighter. I inferred it first based off of her actions to a reaction to a conflict, and then the dialogue right here. When you are done, take out your independent reading book, but you should really be going through to make sure you have as much annotated as possible.